I saw a magnificent picture in a book called True Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the act of swallowing an animal. Here is a copy of the drawing. In the book, it said boa constrictors swallow their prey whole without chewing it. After that, they are not able to move, and they sleep through the 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply then over the adventures of the jungle, and after some work with the color pencil, I succeeded in making my first drawing, my dream number one. I looked something like this. I showed my masterpiece to the grown-ups and asked them whether the drawing frightened them. But they answered, frightened? Why should anyone be frightened by a hat? My drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, I made another drawing. I drew the inside of the boa constrictors so that the grown-ups could see clearly. They always need to have things explained. My drawing number 2 looked like this. The grown-up's response. This time was to advise me to lay aside my drawings of boa constrictors, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself into geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. That is why, at the age of 6, I gave up what might have been a magnificent career as a painter. I had been distracted by the failure of my drawing number 1 and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. So then I chose another profession and learned to fly the airplanes. I have flown a little over all parts of the world, and it's true that the geography has been very useful for me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona. If one gets lost in the night, such knowledge is valuable. It, in the course of this life, I have had a great many encounters with a great many people who had been concerned with matters of consequence. I have lived a great deal among grown-ups. I have seen them intimately, close at hand, and that hasn't much improved my opinion of them. Whenever I meet one of them who seems to me at all clear sight, I try to experiment of showing him my drawing number 1, which I had always kept. I would try to find out so if this was a person of true understanding, but whoever it was, he or she would always say, that is a hat. Then I would never talk to that person about boa constrictors or flammable forests or stars. I will bring myself down to his level. I will talk him about the breeze and golf and politics and nectis. And the grown-up would be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible man. So I lived my life alone, without anyone that I could really talk to, until I had an accident with my plane in the desert of Sahara 6 years ago. Something has broken my engine, and as I had with me neither a machine nor a passenger, I sent myself to attempt the difficult repair all alone. It was a question of life or death for me. I had scarcely enough drinking hotel to rest a week. The first night then, I went to sleep on the sand, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. Thus, you can imagine my amazement as in sunrise when I was awakened by an odd little voice. It said, "If you please, draw me a ship." What? Draw me a ship. I jumped to my feet, completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard. I looked carefully all around me, and I saw a most extraordinarily small person who stood there examining me with great seriously. Here you may see the best portrait there. Later I was able to make of him, but my drawing is certainly very much less charming than its model. That, however, is not my fault. The grown-ups discouraged me in my painter's career when I was 6 years old, and I never learned to draw anything, except boa from the outside and boa from the inside. Now I start at this sudden eruption with my eyes fairly staring out of my head in astonishment. Remember, I had crashed in the desert 1,000 miles from any inhabited region, and yet my little man seemed neither to be strayed uncertainly among the sand, nor to be fainting from passion of hunger, of thirst, or fear. Nothing about him gave any suggestion of a child lost in the middle of the desert, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. When at last I was able to speak, I said to him, "But what are you doing here?" And in answer he responded, very slowly, and if he were speaking of a matter of great consequence. "If you please, draw me a ship." When a mysterious is too overpowering, one dare not disobey. Obvious as it might seem to me, 1,000 miles from any human habitation, and in danger of death, I took out my pocket sheet of paper and my fountain pen. But then I remembered how my student studies had been concentrated on geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, and I told the little chap that I did not know how to draw. He answered me, "That's not the matter. Draw me a ship." But I had never drawn a ship, so I drew for him one of the two pictures I had drawn so often. It was that of the boa constrictor from the outside. And I was astounded to hear the little fellow greet it with, "No, no, no, I do not want an elephant inside the boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is a very dangerous creature, and an elephant is very cumbersome. Where I live, everything is very small. What I need is a ship. Draw me a ship." So then I made a drawing. He looked at it carefully. Then he said, "No, this ship is already very skinny. Make me another one." So I made another drawing. My friend smiled gently and indulgently. "You see yourself," he said, "that this is not a ship. This is a lamb. It has horns." So then I did my drawing over once more, but it was rejected too, just like the others. This one is too old. I want a ship that will live a long time. By this time, my patience was exhausted because I was in a hurry to start taking my engine apart. So I tossed up this drawing, and I drew out an explanation with it. This is only his box. The ship you asked for is inside. I was very surprised to see a little break over the face of my young Jung. That is exactly the way I wanted it. Do you think that this ship will have to have a great deal of grass? Why? Because where I live, everything is very small. There will surely be enough grass for him, I said. It is a very small ship that I have gave you. He bent his head over the drawing. Not so small that, look, he has gone to sleep. And that is how I made the acquaintance of the little prince. It took me a long time to learn where he came from, the little prince, who asked me so many questions, never seemed to hear the ones I asked him. It was from word dropped by chance that little by little, everything was revealed to him. The first time he saw my airplane, for instance, he asked me, "What is that object?" That is not an object, it's a plane. It is an airplane. It is my airplane. And I was fond to have him learn that I could fly. He cried out then, "What? You dropped from the sky?" "Yes," I answered modestly. "Oh, that is funny." And the little prince broke into a lovely peal of laughter, which irritated me very much. I like my misfortunes to be then taken seriously. Then he added, "So you too come from the sky. Which is your planet?" At that moment I caught a glimpse of light in the impenetrable mysterious of his persons, and I demanded abruptly, "Do you come from another planet?" But he did not reply. He tossed his head gently without taking his eyes from my frame. It is true that on that you can't have a come from very far away, and he sank into a river, which lasted a long time. Then, taking my sheaf out of his pocket, he buried himself in the contemplation of his tears. You can imagine how my curiosity was arousing by this half confidence about the other planet. I made a great effort, therefore, to find out more of this subject. "My little man, where do you come from? What is this where I live, or which you speak? Where do you want to take your ship?" After a reflective silence, he answered, "The thing that is so good about the box you have given me is that the night he can use it as his house. That is so, and if you are good, I will give you a string too, so that you can tie him during the day when I forced to tie him too." But the little prince seemed shocked by this offer. Tie him? What a queer idea. But if you don't tie him, I said, he will wander off somewhere and get lost. My friend broke into another pair of laughter. But where do you think he will go? Anywhere, straight ahead of him. Then the little prince said innocently, that doesn't matter where I live. Everything is so small. And with perhaps a hint of sadness, he added, straight ahead of him. Nobody can go very far. Ahead, thus reigns a second fact of great importance. This was that the planet the little prince came from was secretly any larger than a house. But that did not really surprise me much. I knew very well that in addition of the great planets such as the Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and which we have given names, there are also hundreds of others, some of which are so small that one has a hard time seeing them through the telescope. When an astronomer discovers one of these, he does not give it a name, but only a number. He might call it, for example, asteroid 325. I have a serious reason to believe that the planet from which the little prince came is the asteroid known as B612. This asteroid has only once been seen through the telescope. That was by the Turkish astronomer in 1909. On making his discovery, the astronomer had presented it to the International Astronomical Chorus in a great demonstration, but he was in Turkey custom, and so nobody would believe what he said. Grown-ups are like that. Fortunately, however, for the portion of asteroid B612, a Turkish detector made a law that his subject, under pain of death, should change to European costume. So in 1920, the astronomer gave his demonstration all over again, dressed with impressive style and elegance. And this time, everybody accepted his report. If I have told you those details about the asteroid and made a note of its number for you, it is on account of the grown-ups and their ways. When you tell them that you have made a new friend, they never ask you questions about essential matters. They never say to you, what does his voice sound like? What games does he love best? Does he collect butterflies? Instead, they demand, how old is he? How many brothers has he? How much does he weigh? How much money does his father make? Only from these figures do they think they have learned anything about him. If you were to say to the grown-ups, I saw a beautiful house made of rosy bricks with journeyman's in the windows and doves on the roof. They would not be able to get any idea of the house. At all, you would have to say them, I saw a house that cost $1 million. Then they would exclaim, oh, what a pretty house that is. Just so you might say to them, the roof that the little prince exists is that he was charming, then he left, and that he was looking for a ship. If anybody wants a ship, that is a proof that he exists. And what good word would it do to tell them that? They will shrug their shoulders and treat you like a child. But if you say to them, the planet he came from is asteroid B612, then they will be convinced and leave you in peace from their questions. They are like that. One must not hold against them. Children should always show great forbearance to all grown-up people. But certainly for us who understand life, figures are a matter of indifference. I should have liked to begin this story in the fashion of the fairy tale. I should have liked to say, once upon a time there was a little prince who lived on a planet that was scarcely any bigger than himself, and who had need of a ship. To those who understand life, that would have given a much gentle air of trust to my story. For I do not want anyone to read my books carelessly. I have suffered too much grief in setting down these memories. 6 years have already passed since my friend went away from me with his ship. If I try to describe him here, it is to make sure that I shall not forget him. To forget a friend is sad. Not everyone has had a friend, and if I forget him, I may become like the grown-ups who are no longer interested in anything but figures. It is for that purpose, again, that I have bought a box of paints and some pencils. It is hard to take up drawing again at my age, when I have never made any pictures except those of the boa constrictors from the outside and the boa constrictors from the inside. Since I was 6, I shall certainly try to make my portrait as true to life as possible, but I am not at all sure of success. One drawing goes along all right, and another has no resemblance to its subject. I make some errors too. In the Little Prince height, in one place he is too tall, and in another too short. And I feel some doubts about the color of his costume, so I fumble along as best I can. Now good, now bad, and I hope generally fair to middling. In certain more important detail, I shall make mistakes also, but that is something that will not be my fault. My friend never explained anything to me. He thought perhaps that I was like himself, but I do not know how to see sheep through the walls of boxes. Perhaps I am a little like the grown-ups. I have had a I have had to grow old. As each day passed, I would learn in our talk something about the little friend's planet. His departure from it, his journey, the important information would come very slowly, as it might change to fall from his tongues. It was in this way that I heard on the third day about the catastrophe of the baobabs. This time once more, I had the sheep to thank for it, for the little prince asked me abruptly, as if seized by the grave doubt. It's true, isn't it, that sheep eat little red bushes? Yes, they eat. That is true. Ah, I'm glad. I did not understand why it was so important that sheep should eat the little red bushes. But the little prince added, then it follows that they also eat baobabs. I pointed out to the little prince that baobabs were not the little bushes, but on the contrary, trees are big as castles, and that even if he took a whole herd of elephants away with him, the herd would not eat up one single baobab. The idea of the herd of elephants made the little friends laugh. We would have to put them on the one on top of the other, he said, but he made a wise comment. Before they grow so big, the baobabs start out by being little. That is strictly correct, I said. But why do you want the sheep to eat the little baobabs? He answered me at once. Oh, come, as if he were speaking of something that was self-evident. And I was afraid to make a great mental effort to solve this problem without any assistance. Indeed, as I learned that there were on the planet where the little prince lived, as one or friends grow good friends and bad friends. In consequence, there were good seeds from good planets and bad seeds from bad planets. But seeds are invisible. They sleep deep in the heart of the earth's darkness until someone among them is seized with the desire to awaken. Then this little seed will stretch itself and begin timidly at first, but push on. Charming little spring inofensively upward toward the sun. If it is only a sprout of lettuce or the spring of a rose bush, one would let it grow wherever it may wish. But when it is a bad friend, one must destroy it as soon as possible. The very first instant that one recognizes it. There were some terrible seas on the planet that was the home of the little prince, and these were the seeds of the baobab. The soil of that planet was in percent with them. A baobab is something you will never be able to get rid of if you attempt to it too late. It spread over the entire planet. It bores clear through in with its roots. And if the plant is too small and the baobab are too many, they split it to pieces. It is a question of discipline. The little friend said to me later on, when you are finished your own toil of in the morning, then it is time to attend to the toil of your planet. Just so, with the greatest care, you must see to it that you pull up regularly all the baobabs. At the very first moment when they can be distinguished from the rose bushes which they resemble to crows in their earliest youth. It is very tireless work, the little prince added, but very easy. And one day he said to me, you are out to make a beautiful drawing, so that the children where you live can see exactly how all this is. That would be very useful to them if they were to travel someday. Sometimes, he added, there is no harm in putting off a piece of work until another day. But when it is a matter of baobabs, that always means a catastrophe. I knew a planet that was inhabited by a lazy man. He neglected trees, little bushes. So, as the little prince described it to me, I have made a drawing of that planet. I do not much like to take tone of the moralist, but the danger of the baobabs is so little understood, and such considerable risk would be run by anyone who might get lost on an asteroid, that for once I am breaking through my reserve. Children, I say friendly, watch out for the baobabs. My friend, like myself, have been creating this danger for a long time without ever knowing it. And so it is for them that I have worked so hard over this drawing. The reason which passed on by this means is worth all the trouble it has cost me. Perhaps you will ask me, why are there no other drawing in this book as magnificent and impressive as the drawing of the baobabs? The reply is simple. I have tired, but with the other I have not been successful. When I made the drawing of the baobabs, I was carried beyond myself by the inspiring force of urgent, urgent necessary. A little prince. Bit by bit, came to understand the secrets of your sad little life. For a long time, you had found your only entertainment in the quiet pleasure of looking at the sunset. I learned that the new details on the morning of the fourth day, when you said to me, I am very fond of sunsets. Come, let us go look at the sunset now. But we must wait, I said. Wait for what? For the sunset. We must wait until it is time. As but you seem to be very much surprised. And then you read to yourself. You said to me, I am always seeking that I am at home. Just so everybody knows that when it is noon in the United States, the sun is setting over France. If you could fly to France in 1 minute, you could go straight into the sunset, right from noon. Unfortunately, France is too far away for that. But on your tiny planet, my little friends, all you need to do is move your chair a few steps. You can see the day and the twilight falling wherever you like. One day, you said to me, I saw the sunset 44 times. And a little later you added, you know, one loves the sunset when one is so sad. Where you sat then? I asked. On the day of the 44th sunset, but the little fence made no reply. On the 15th day again, as always, it was thanks to the ship, the secret of the little prince's life was revealed to me. Abruptly, without anything to wrap up to it, and as if the question had been born too long and silent imitation of his program. He demanded, a sheep, if it eat little bushes, does it eat flowers too? A sheep, I answered, eat anything it finds in its reach. Even flowers that have thorns? Yes, even flowers that have thorns. Then the thorns, what use are they? I did not know. At that moment, I was very busy trying to unscrew a bolt that had gone stuck in my engine. I had very much worry, for it was becoming clear to me that the breakdown of my brain was extremely serious, and I had so little drinking water left I had to fall for the worst. The thorns, what use are they? The little prince never let go of the question. Once he had asked it. As for me, I was upset over that word, and I answered with the first thing that came into my head. The thorns are no use at all. Flowers had thorns just for spite. Oh, there was a moment of complete silence. Then the little prince thrust back at me with a kind of resentfulness. I don't believe you. Flowers are weak, certainly. Flowers are weak creatures. They are naive. They reserve themselves as best they can. They believe that their thorns are terrible weapons. I did not answer. At that instant, I was saying to myself, if this world still won't turn, I am going to knock it out with a hammer. Again, the little prince disturbed my thoughts. And you actually believe that the flowers? Oh no, I cried. No, no, no. I don't believe anything. I answered you with the first thing that came into my head. Don't you see? I am very busy with matters of consequence. He stared at me, thunderstruck. Matters of consequence? He looked at me there. With my hammer in my hand, my fingers break with the engine glass. Bending down over an object which seemed to him extremely ugly. You talk just like the grown-ups. They made me a little ashamed, but he went on relentlessly. You mix everything up together. You confuse everything. He was really very angry. He tossed its golden curls in the breeze. I know a planet where there is a certain red-faced gentleman. He has never seemed a flower. He has never looked at the stars. He has never loved anyone. He has never done anything in his life but add up figures. And all day he says over and over, just like you, I'm busy with the matters of consequence. And that makes him swear up with pride. But he is not a man. He is a mushroom. A what? A mushroom. The little prince was now white with rage. The power have been growing thrones with millions of years. For millions of years, the sheep had been eating them just the same. And it is not a matter of consequence to try to understand why the flowers go to so much trouble to grow thorns with the never of any use of them. If the is the warfare between the sheep and the flowers not important, is this not or more consequence than a fat red-faced gentleman seems? And if I know I myself one flower which is unique in the world, which grows nowhere but on my planet, but which one's little sheep can destroy in a single bite some morning, without even noticing what he is doing. Oh, you think that is not important? His face turned from white to red as he continued. If someone robs a flower, of which just one single blossom grows in all the millions of stars, it is enough to make him happy just to look at the stars. He can say to himself, somewhere my flower is there. But if the sheep is the flower, in one moment all his stars will be darkened, and you think that is not important. He could not say anything more. His words were choked by sobbing. The night had fallen. I had let my tools drop from my hand. Of what moment one was my hammer, my bolt, or thirst, or death? On one star, one planet, my planet, the Earth, there was a little prince to be comforted. I looked him in my arms. I took him in my arms and rocked him. I said to him, the flower that you loved is not in danger. I will draw you a most of your ship. I will draw you a rain to put around your flower. I did not know what to say to him. I felt awkward and burning. I did not know how I could reach him, where I could overtake him and go on hand in hand with him once more. It is such a secret place, the land of tears. I soon learned to know this flower better. On the little prince planet, the flower had always been very simple. They had only one ring of precious feathers. They took up no room at all. They were a trouble to nobody. One morning they would appear in the grass, and by night they would have faded peacefully away. But one day, from a seed grown from no one knew where, a new flower had come up, and the little prince had watched very closely over this small sprout, which was not like any other small sprout on his planet. It might, you see, have been a new kind of baobab. The shrub should stop growing and began to get ready to produce a flower. The little prince, who was present at the first appearance of a huge bud, felt at once that some sort of miraculous operation must emerge from it.